Hello and welcome to my channel. My name's Lyndon and thank you so much for being here. In this video I'm going to follow up on my promise of making a breakdown of the solo that I played over Crimea River for tenor sax. I'm going to go through the entire chord chart and explain step by step what I was doing, including all of the scales that I was using and pretty much what I was thinking while I was playing it and my approach. And I've got some PDFs for you, so as you can see here I've got a complete breakdown of everything that I was doing, which is several pages, including the scales that you need. And I've also got a PDF which is my free gift to you as a download of the entire chord chart. I was kind of not copying, but I was playing Crimea River in the same key as Dexter Gordon using a backing track which was on my iPad, and this is called Quartet 1. I strongly recommend that you get it because it's fabulous. And what I did have to do in order to play it in the same key as Dexter Gordon, I did have to transpose it from the original key into F minor. Now there is on YouTube, if you don't have an iPad, there is on YouTube a really cool backing track that's in the correct key, the same key that Dexter Gordon played it in, which will fit over this. So if you don't have an iPad, you can still use this instruction to play along, and I'll put a link in the description for that as well below. Before we go any further, can I just ask you a favour? If you like what I'm doing here and you think it's got some value for you or some other people, could you please support this channel by subscribing and maybe sharing this video? It would help enormously. And in return, my commitment to you is that I will continue to listen to your feedback and continue to improve what I do here at the channel. I'm basically could be like your free saxophone teacher. If you tell me what it is that you'd like to learn, then I'll make a video about it for free. And all I ask in return is that you subscribe to this channel and share it with as many people as you possibly can. That would help enormously. It's free, it doesn't cost you anything, and it doesn't cost you anything to share this video except for maybe 2 minutes of your time. I'd be so grateful to you. Thank you. Before we set off on the chord chart, there are some scales that we're going to absolutely need to be very familiar with, and I've got a list of them here. So scales that you really need to work on for this tune. Well, the chromatic scale. If you listen to my solo, I'm using the chromatic scale a lot, particularly doing things like this. So I'm just using the chromatic scale loads and loads and loads. I think it sounds really nice. So the chromatic scale is something that you definitely need to work on. Another scale that you'll need is G minor. And what I've said here is G minor in all its forms: Dorian, Aeolian, minor pentatonic, harmonic minor and blues scales. All of those are going to be super useful to you through this tune. But the one that I'm heavily relying on is really the sixth mode of this scale here, which is B flat major, and I'm using so that's the relative minor, and that would be G minor 7, which is this scale. On the sheet it also says that knowing B flat major and the modes of B flat major are going to work really, really well, specifically C minor 7, which is the second mode, and F7, which is the fifth mode. So here's B flat major for you. C minor. And F7. All the same bunch of notes, but just starting on different points, so that's going to be really useful. Then C harmonic minor comes up a lot, and it really comes up starting on the note of G. So you get your C harmonic minor, which is this. And And this tune uses that, but those bunch of notes, but starting on a G, and that would give you what's called a Phrygian dominant. But don't be put off by the crazy names, Phrygian dominant. It sounds scary. It's just exactly the same bunch of notes as C harmonic minor, but starting on a G. You'll also really benefit from knowing D harmonic minor, and the D harmonic minor is useful over nearly all, or I'm using it very heavily over the whole of the B section. So that would sound like this. We also need the scale of D major, and that would sound like this. Remember, all of these sheets are available for free. I've written out all of this for free for you. Right, let's have a look at the A section then and go through it and apply some of these scales. In the A section, if we have a look, we've got G minor, so what it says is the first two bars are in G minor, and a good choice here is the G minor 7 Aeolian, the sixth mode of B flat major. And I've written the scale down here and the chord tones, and that's really, in my solo, that's pretty much everything that I'm doing. I'm just using that scale. And in the next two bars we have, well, let's loop that. I tell you what, let's loop the first two bars and just make sure and see how it sounds. And I think in my solo I did something like, I went to the root third, root fourth, root fifth, something like this. Have a listen. And that just sounds lovely. I mean, sounds absolutely lovely. In the next two bars we have a 2-5-1 in the key of B flat. Now if you're not sure about 2-5-1s, then I've made a video on it and you can go and check it out, because 2-5s and 2-5-1s are going to come up all the time in chord charts, and here we have a 2-5-1 in the key of B flat. So that's what I was mentioning before, and that's going to be quite straightforward to navigate through. But what happens, the last chord is D7 flat 9. Now that could be the fifth mode of G harmonic minor, but really I've only got 2 beats, so all I'm going to do is just hit one of the chord tones of D7, which is an F sharp. So once again I'm thinking C minor through all of this, and as soon as I land on there I'm going to land on an F sharp. See if I loop these two, whoops, so look. And as you can see, I'm putting all of the letter names of what I'm playing in the titles below, and I just made a nice little chromatic descent into that F sharp, which I hope sounded really nice. Right, so the next few bars, the next two bars are a minor 2-5. So this part is a minor 2-5 in the key of C minor. So what I could do is that I could play C harmonic minor, but starting on the G, G7 flat 9, which is like C harmonic minor starting on a G. So I get this scale. Which is the fifth mode of C harmonic minor. All I'm doing is when I resolve into the C7, I'm just hitting the chord tones again. So yeah, let's see if that says anything about that. And then resolving to the C7. Absolutely, yeah. So I'm playing that G Phrygian dominant, which sounds really, really scary, but actually it doesn't have to be, and then resolving into the chord tones of C7, so C, E, G and B flat, which is what I've put just here. So have a listen. And again, I think that works ever so well. And then, the last two bars, so that's these two here, are a variation on a 2-5-1 in B flat. So you've got an F11 there, but you could treat that as an F7. I've got a 2 and a 5 and a 1. And then landing on a D7. So I'm thinking just to land on one of the chord tones, which is which I would go for the F sharp. So again, I'm just thinking C minor, C Dorian minor, or F7 over this section, and then landing on an F sharp. So if I loop these two bars, you'll hear what I mean, hopefully. I'll wait until it comes around again. And again, I'm not doing anything rocket science-ish here, I'm just playing the scales. So if we have a look at the second A section, that follows an identical form except for the last bar. In the second half of the last bar, we see a minor 2-5 in D minor, and I'll be thinking D harmonic minor over that, which will lead me into the B section really well, because the B section just mainly you can use D harmonic minor over the whole thing. Now, by the way, this is not the only approach, it's not the definitive approach, this is just an approach that I've taken, which I find is reasonably straightforward. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play now through the two A sections, and you can see how straightforwardly, if you just use the scales, it's just going to work. It just sounds lovely. So if I start here. Perfectly, lovely solo. I think it sounded ever so nice, and I'm keeping it I'm trying to make it dead obvious what I'm doing, but if I was actually soloing, then I wouldn't make it so obvious. I would maybe dance around those scales a little bit more, but I want you to be able to understand everything that I'm doing, and I want the world to know that this is completely doable. This is doable for you. You can definitely do it. So that's the second A section. The B section, you can continue using the D harmonic minor over the entire B section, it says here, except for the last two bars, right? And whoa, except for the last two bars where it goes from D major, and then you've got a 2-5 into, which is a 2-5 in G. So I've written out the harmonic minor for you there. The second to last bar is D major, and the last bar is a 2-5 in the key of G. So I'm just thinking chord tones. So A minor to D7 would be, So once again, I'm thinking D harmonic minor over all of this until I get down to here. I'm going to hit D major, and then I'm going to hit the chord tones of this 2/5, and that is the B section. So let me try and loop the B section, and you'll see what it sounds like. So here we go. So the final A section is identical to the first A, except it just stays in B flat major. It stays in B flat major, and I'm just looking to make a nice resolved sound. So I would use all the same techniques that I used in the first A over that, but over here I'm just going to hit a nice B flat major kind of sound. So the chord tones, and if I went 7 root 3 5 7 9, up and down, that would sound really nice. So now I'm going to play the entire form. It's so simple. I'm just running up and down the scales, but if you don't know those scales and you can't roll up and down them fluently, then this is going to be too much of a challenge, really, in all honesty. But it doesn't make you mad, bad or sad. It just means that you need to learn your scales. And often if you present the information in this way, people are now actually motivated to learn their scales, because then they know that if they learn their scales, they'll be able to play through Cry Me a River. And you don't need to be a rocket scientist or the world's greatest saxophonist in order to make a perfectly decent solo through this chord chart. And you can definitely do this if you try. So if I was playing this at a gig, then I would essentially be doing exactly what I've just been doing here, but I would just vary it slightly so I'm trying to make it really super obvious what I'm doing so that you can see exactly how straightforward it can be to play a beautiful solo. Right, I do hope that that was useful to you. Please do subscribe. Please help me build my subscribers up. What I'd really like to do in the end is do less personal teaching, because that soaks up all of my time, and more making videos. And the way that I'm going to get to that stage is by building up this channel so that it's more viable or viable at all, and so that more people see it. So that's really going to help if you would be kind enough to share my video. Anyway, that's enough of my appeal. I really hope you found that useful. Let me know what you think in the comments, and have a beautiful day. Thanks so much for watching. See you in the next video. Bye.